What if I told you that the moment you genuinely stop caring is exactly when she starts chasing? You've probably been there, trying harder, giving more, chasing desperately, but instead of bringing her closer, you watch her drift further away. You think showing more interest will spark hers, but it never does. What if the very feeling you dread, losing interest, letting go, was actually your greatest advantage? Because here's the truth. The moment you no longer need her validation is the moment you become irresistible. Right now, you're at a critical point. You can continue desperately chasing and lose her forever, or you can reclaim your self-respect and become someone worth chasing. If you're ready to flip the script, hit the like button, subscribe, turn on notifications, and comment below. I control my emotions, not the chase. Now, let's dive in. Number 1. The hidden games she plays to pull you back in. You stopped reaching out, you moved on quietly, and just when the silence starts to settle in, she reappears. A message, a sudden follow on your new post, a photo in a revealing outfit, not tagged but perfectly visible. She's not saying, "I miss you." She doesn't need to. Every action screams it, but it's not love, it's not longing, it's control. This is the silent tactic many use without saying a word, baiting attention, not to reconnect, but to confirm they still have emotional access to you. She doesn't want to be close again, she wants to know she could if she wanted to. And in that desire for confirmation, she becomes a puppeteer, testing whether your silence is real or just a tactic. From a Stoic perspective, this is where self-mastery separates the free from the entangled. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The tranquility that comes when you stop caring what they say, or think, or do, only what you do." This is not about her, it's about your response. If you break the silence, if you reply out of habit, if you take the bait, she wins. Not because she gets you back, but because she sees you still care more than she does. And that's the game. She doesn't need a conversation, she needs your attention. Your presence affirms her worth. And the moment you give it, she disappears again, back into silence, back into the shadows, leaving you confused, questioning, and destabilized. But what happens when you don't react? When you remain still, when her carefully crafted signal doesn't land? That's when things shift. She checks again, maybe a new post, maybe showing up somewhere you used to frequent. She's not stalking you, she's studying your reactions. The silence becomes unbearable, not for you, for her. The lie we're often sold is that love always comes back when it's meant to. But sometimes, what comes back is not love. It's ego. It's a person who doesn't miss you, but misses the control they once had over you. And if you mistake that for affection, you're trapped again. So here's the move. Remain calm. Stay grounded. Don't block her out of spite. Don't reply to prove you've moved on. Just be. Continue your life. Keep building. Keep evolving. Because silence isn't emptiness. It's clarity. And sometimes the strongest message you can send is none at all. You don't need to win her back. You don't need her attention to feel validated. You already won the moment you stopped needing the game to feel something. Because the man who doesn't flinch when she tries to test him is the one she ends up remembering. Not for how he came back, but for how he stayed gone. Now speak out and comment below. My peace is not her playground. Number 2. When your absence makes her question her worth. She was used to you showing up. Like clockwork, your messages came through, your attention stayed constant, and your energy flowed in her direction. But now, it's quiet. And at first, she tells herself she doesn't care. She distracts herself, pretends it's mutual, but then something strange begins to happen. The silence lingers, and with it, her thoughts start to turn inward. Why did he stop? Was I not enough? Did I push him too far? She rereads old messages, not just once, several times. She rewatches stories you were in, checks photos where you smiled at her. She zooms in, compares her current look to how she appeared back then. Maybe she even changes her hairstyle, buys a new outfit, posts something subtly tailored to make you notice. But this time it's not confidence driving her, it's insecurity. You've flipped the dynamic. Without blame, without argument, you simply exited the space she once controlled. You didn't leave with anger, you just left with your energy, and that, more than anything, disturbs her equilibrium, because whether she admits it or not, your attention validated something in her. It confirmed her desirability, her power, her place in your world. Now, from a Stoic lens, this is not a moment to gloat. It's a moment to observe. As Epictetus wrote, it's not what happens to you but how you react to it that matters. Her emotional response is hers to manage. Your role is not to save her from it, nor to feed it again out of guilt. Your role is to stay centered, compassionate but unwavering. A common myth we must challenge is this: if she's hurting, I should reach out, I should fix it. But here's the truth: sometimes your absence is the only honest mirror she'll ever get. If you return too soon, you interrupt the process. You become the bandage for a wound she's not ready to acknowledge. By holding the line, by maintaining your distance, you give her something rare: space to feel the weight of her own behavior, not as punishment, but as a path to awareness, and maybe growth. If she reaches out, it won't be from a place of control this time, it will be from reflection. But even then, your decision to engage should come not from loneliness or nostalgia, but from alignment. Are her actions now grounded in truth, or just another attempt to soothe insecurity? The Stoic man does not reject connection. He simply refuses to be the remedy for someone else's emotional chaos. He can empathize without becoming entangled. He can observe her journey without needing to alter its course. So when your absence begins to rattle her sense of worth, don't rush to clarify or comfort. Let the silence do its work. Let the mirror reflect. Because the man who doesn't return on demand is the man she'll have to face within herself. No comment below. Her confusion is not my responsibility. Number 3. The storm inside her. Emotional chaos after you let go. She wanted to be in control, not just of the relationship, but of the rhythm. When to talk, when to withdraw, when to make you wait. And for a while it worked. Your attention followed her lead. But then you stopped chasing. You didn't argue. You didn't explain. You just disappeared into stillness. And now her mind is no longer calm. Her emotions begin to fluctuate like a storm. One moment she's on your page, sending a casual message, liking a story. The next she vanishes again, posting vague quotes about healing or letting go. She's torn between ego and longing. One part of her says, "I don't need him." Another whispers, "Why hasn't he come back?" She doesn't understand it yet, but what's unraveling inside her is a reaction to a loss of emotional leverage. She once had the upper hand, knowing you would always return, always try to fix things, always wait. But your silence speaks louder than any message, and it's deafening. From a Stoic viewpoint, this is where emotional discipline becomes your greatest strength. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You don't have to turn this into something. It doesn't have to upset you." Her chaos is not your crisis. Her swings from warmth to cold are not yours to stabilize. Your stillness is not indifference, it's mastery. Many men get drawn back in at this stage. They confuse her erratic behavior for vulnerability. Maybe she's softening, they think. Maybe she regrets losing me, and maybe she does. But more often, this emotional turbulence isn't about reconnection. It's about restoring control. If she can just get you to respond, she wins back her footing. So how do you respond when her emotional waves rise and fall? You don't. You observe. You don't punish her with silence, you honor yourself with it. You remain a witness, not a participant. You let her post, message, vanish, reappear, without letting your inner world shift an inch. And this drives her deeper into conflict. Because emotional power has flipped, she feels things she never expected to. Irritation, restlessness, regret. Her thoughts are less about who you were and more about how you didn't need her validation to walk away. This, right here, is the hidden moment where your self-discipline becomes unforgettable, not because you played games, not because you retaliated, but because you held your center when everything in her wanted to pull you off balance. Let her feel what she needs to feel. Let the storm pass through her. But don't throw yourself into the rain just because she opens the window. You're not a rescue mission. You're not emotional shelter. You are your own calm sky. Because the man who doesn't respond to chaos with chaos becomes the one she remembers, not with comfort, but with curiosity. Now speak out. I don't chase storms, I stay grounded in my peace. Number 4. When she chaunts to make you feel her absence. She doesn't message, she doesn't call, but suddenly her presence is everywhere. A photo with another man, smiling but carefully posed, a flirty comment under someone else's post, a story full of energy, music, laughter and movement. But none of it feels real. None of it is for her. It's for you. When you stop giving attention, many won't accept it in silence. They'll fight the void, not with vulnerability but with performance. She doesn't want you back. She wants you to notice that she's fine without you. She wants to stir something, regret, jealousy, even anger, just to feel like she still matters in your world. And here's where most men crumble. They take the bait, they get reactive, they watch the stories, zoom in on the photo, read every caption like it's coded for pain, and in doing so they give her exactly what she wants. Proof that she still holds emotional power. But the Stoic man knows better. As Epictetus taught, if someone does wrong, it is because they are mistaken about what is good. Her actions aren't about you, they're about soothing her wounded ego. When attention leaves, ego seeks another stage, and Instagram, parties, new connections become that stage. Let's break a myth. She must be happy now. Not necessarily. Paunting is rarely about happiness. It's about projection. The louder the show, the emptier the backstage, because people who are truly content don't need to prove it. So what do you do when you see this behavior? You do nothing. You don't unfollow out of spite. You don't mute her out of pain. You don't post in retaliation. You simply stay calm, focused, unbothered. Because the real shift isn't in what she sees. It's in what she doesn't see. No reaction, no hint of disruption. And when there's no reaction, the performance begins to feel pointless. The photos get bolder, the captions more obvious, but the audience is silent, and that silence, that's the end of her control. Over time, she'll realize, you're not watching anymore, not just on social media, but in life. Your energy is no longer orbiting her world, it's grounded, directed inward. And that realization hits harder than any message you could send. The Stoic doesn't win by punishing others. He wins by not participating in the drama. He doesn't shrink, he doesn't chase, he doesn't explain, he simply rises in silence, with strength. So if she wants to flaunt, let her. You don't need to react. You just need to keep living so well that your peace becomes louder than her noise. Because the man who doesn't flinch at the performance is the one she never forgets. No matter how much she tries to pretend she's over him. No comment below. My silence is not weakness, it's wisdom. Number 5. Her mask of indifference hides more than you think. You've gone quiet, present in your own life, and on the surface she seems unaffected. No texts, no reaction, no accidental likes or story views. Instead she posts about focusing on herself, quotes about letting go, and vague declarations like, "Some things aren't worth the energy." Her world looks calm, but if you look closely something doesn't add up. Because silence isn't always peace. Sometimes it's performance. Her sudden detachment, her passive quotes, her curated nonchalance, they're not proof that she's healed. They're defense mechanisms. It's easier to act like she doesn't care than to admit the truth. Your absence hit harder than she expected. She doesn't talk about you to friends. Not because she's over you, but because the moment your name comes up, so does the ache. So she acts like you never mattered. She skips the emotional weight and builds a wall out of cold captions and distant smiles. And here's where the Stoic man shines, not because he's heartless, but because he sees clearly. As Marcus Aurelius once said, you should be more concerned with returning to yourself than to someone else. That's your task now, not to analyze her silence, but to stay rooted in your own, not to decode her performance, but to deepen your presence. Many men falter here. They misread her indifference as closure. So they reach out, to check in, to confirm, to reclaim something. But what they don't realize is, her mask was designed for this. She wants to seem untouchable. Because if you chase her now, you reinforce the illusion that she still matters more to you than your own growth. So how do you respond to her indifference? You don't. Not out of pride, but out of peace. You understand that not every silence is strength. Some silences are just shields. And your job is not to tear them down, but to let them fall naturally, if they ever do. Because over time, if your energy remains unmoved, the cracks will show. She'll wonder why you didn't come back, why your silence didn't crumble, and if there was ever anything real between you, she'll feel the emptiness louder than any noise she tried to create. The common trap is to take her distance as a challenge, to prove she was wrong to let you go. But you have nothing to prove. Your value was never up for debate. If she couldn't see it when you were present, she won't see it because of a clever comeback or a latent message. The Stoic man doesn't chase mystery. He doesn't demand closure. He lets time reveal truth. And in the meantime, he keeps building, quietly, steadily, with purpose. So when she pretends not to care, let her. When she posts about moving on, let her. Your only responsibility is to actually move on, not to make a point, but to find peace. Because the man who doesn't return to the stage is the one she remembers when the show is over. Now speak out and comment below. I don't chase masks, I trust what's real. Number 6. When she quietly tries to reopen the door. It doesn't come as a grand confession. There's no dramatic, I miss you, no apology typed out at 2 a.m. Instead, it's subtle. A meme she knows you'll laugh at. A comment on a post you're tagged in. A random like on an old story. She's not reaching for your hand, just testing the lock on the door she once closed. This is the quiet attempt at reconnection. Not because she's certain, but because she's curious. Curious if the door is still open, curious if you still feel something, curious if she still holds a place in your world without having to ask for it. And many men fall for it, not because they're weak, but because they still want to believe. They reply too quickly, overthrew the signs, and suddenly they're back in the cycle, chasing the hint instead of observing the whole. But a Stoic man sees clearly. He knows that not all contact is connection. As Epictetus taught, if you wish to be good, begin by believing that you are bad. That is, start by confronting your weakness, your desire to be chosen. Because if you don't see it, it will guide you into emotional traps again and again. Let's be honest, her soft return isn't always about you. Sometimes it's about her loneliness, her boredom, her need for reassurance. And when you respond too quickly, too warmly, she's reassured, which means she can retreat again, comforted by the knowledge that she still holds emotional access. So what do you do when she sends that meme, when she makes that offhand comment? You pause, you observe. You don't react to the breadcrumbs. You ask yourself, what does this cost me emotionally? Is this reconnection or just another test? And if you do respond, you do so with clarity, not craving. No long conversations, no emotional confessions, just calm, measured energy. You show that while you're not hostile, you're also not hooked. You don't rush back to the rhythm she used to control. The truth is, if she truly wants to reconnect, she'll go beyond vague gestures. She'll speak clearly. She'll reach out with vulnerability, not games. And when that happens, then you can decide whether to open the door again. But until then, your stillness is your strength. Your restraint is your power. Because nothing unsettles someone who's used to controlling you more than your quiet indifference. So don't fall for the soft tap on the door unless you know what's behind it, because sometimes it's not a welcome back. It's a test of whether you've really moved on. And the man who doesn't reach first becomes the one she has to face with honesty or not at all. Comment below. I answer clarity, not curiosity. Number 7. When she breaks or lets go for good. There's always a final stage. After the silence, the bait, the distant glances, after the memes, the passive posts, the quiet reappearances, something gives. Either she reaches out in desperation or she disappears entirely, not as a tactic this time, but as an ending. You've passed through every emotional test she threw your way, and now all that's left is one last reaction, collapse or retreat. If she breaks, you'll see it. A long message. Emotional, scattered, sometimes even accusatory. Why did you stop trying? You never cared. Or maybe, I miss you, I was just scared. This isn't strength. It's surrender. Not to love, but to the weight of losing control over someone she thought she could always reel back in. She didn't expect you to hold the line this long. She thought the silence would crack, that you'd eventually check in, that a photo, a song, a memory would lure you back, but your restraint became a mirror. And what she sees in it isn't flattering. She lost someone who wasn't acting, who wasn't playing, who was real. Or she chooses the other path. She vanishes for good, blocks, unfollows, cuts off all possibility of future contact. Not because she's moved on peacefully, but because she couldn't bend you. And the final grasp for dignity is to disappear and pretend it was her choice all along. From a Stoic perspective, both endings are the same. As Marcus Aurelius said, receive without pride, let go without attachment. Whether she breaks or withdraws, your foundation stays untouched. You're not here to fix her pain. You're not here to prove you were right. You're here to continue your path, with or without her applause. This is where many men waver. They see her emotional collapse as a reason to reassure, to comfort, to rescue. But remember this, not every tear is a reason to return. Sometimes it's just the weight of losing control, not love, not longing. And if you rush back thinking she's changed, you often land back at square one. So what do? You accept, fully. You don't gloat. You don't harden. You don't expect closure or apology. you move forward. Not because you won, but because you chose peace over chaos. You learned the hardest lesson a man can learn in love. Not every woman who wants you deserves your energy. And when you can let go, not bitterly but gracefully, you reach the true Stoic ideal. You stop being shaped by someone else's instability. You become your own still point in a spinning world. Because sometimes the most powerful ending isn't her apology. It's your silence. Now speak out and comment below. Her ending is not my undoing. You began this journey thinking you had to chase harder, work more, and sacrifice your dignity. But now you understand. The key was never about chasing her. It was about becoming someone worth chasing. Your worth was always yours. She didn't take your power. She just revealed the strength you forgot you had. If you're ready to keep evolving and attracting, not chasing like this video, subscribe and comment below. I am unstoppable. Stay strong, stay focused. Your greatest victories are still ahead.